Okay, guys, so today we have a special guest star, so to speak. My colleague Nate Scharf is going to be talking to you guys about the customer journey. Sorry, I have a sick kid mumbling next to me. Apologies for any additional sounds, and I live on a busy street and I'm out here on my patio. Oh, yep, there goes a slammed Miata that's kind of loud. So where was I? So Nate is going to be talking about the customer journey. And the great thing about this lecture is it pairs really nicely with those business idea generators that we talked about. This is kind of the theory behind that, and it's got some great content about consumer behavior baked in. So really good stuff about how customers come to their purchasing decisions. Nate teaches Business 132 Marketing and Business 290 Business Communications. Both classes pair really nicely with Business 130, so I hope for those of you that plan to... Oh, yep, somebody's got some loud music. There go the Bee Gees. So for those of you that plan to continue your entrepreneurship journey, I hope you consider taking one of Nate's classes.
Hi, I'm Nate Scharf. I'm one of your business faculty at MiraCosta. I teach business communication and I also teach marketing. In our marketing course, we spend a lot of time working on techniques and strategies for how to come up with new product and service ideas. Prior to teaching, I worked as a product manager and various other marketing roles for companies in San Diego, and one of my responsibilities was to have a process in place for spotting opportunities in the marketplace for new product or service ideas. And that's what I want to talk about today. As entrepreneurial students, you are also opportunists, just like marketers, in looking for ways to spot these opportunities and to build a business around an unmet need in the marketplace. One of the tools that businesses are using currently is evaluating the customer journey, as the customer begins thinking about a product all the way through to interfacing with your brand and your website and maybe your retail store to purchase and even post-purchase interactions. Are there opportunities for a new product idea, a new service idea, or even just differentiating yourselves from existing competitors and having that be a new business idea in and of itself? So we're going to look at customer journey mapping and the opportunities for new product ideas that come from this evaluation process. So the roadmap you see here outlines the customer journey process, the customer journey map. And you see that there's 5 stages up at the top: awareness, consideration, purchase, service, and loyalty expansion. There's many different versions of the customer journey mapping, but the idea is the customer is moving through specific stages. First, they're becoming aware that they even have a need, and then they're actually doing some cognitive decision-making evaluation process in the consideration phase. Then they move to actually purchasing. How are they going to purchase it? Where are they going to purchase it at? And then there's the service, post-purchase service that comes along after you've bought the product and interacting with the brand and getting support. And then there's loyalty expansion. How is the business continuing to communicate with the customer and try to build them as a brand ambassador and loyal to your brand so that they'll buy additional products from you? And in each of these 5 stages, there can be opportunities to do something different from what all the existing competitors are doing. There might be an opportunity to have the customer buy the product a different way, for example, in the purchase stage. And maybe they're buying direct versus having to go to a retail store. So each one of these stages is evaluated by the company to look for opportunities where there might be an unmet need with the customer, and that you can come in with a new business version or a new product or service idea to meet that unmet need. Another way of thinking of looking for opportunities through the customer journey is this concept of pinch points. Pinch points are where the customer is experiencing friction or dissatisfaction or frustration with the customer journey process. They're at a stage, maybe it's awareness, maybe it's consideration, where they're actually running into some challenges with considering buying your product or service. Now we look at Carvana. Here's a relatively new way of buying cars, right? Ordering it online directly and it's delivered directly to you, with the traditional model by comparison being going to a car dealership and getting the car that way. So let's look at the Carvana model and see where there might be pinch points And then those pinch points can be opportunities. So here we see the customer journey process for Carvana. At the bottom you see those little red lightning bolts. That's friction. That's where they're having a pinch point. Above the line, that's where they're having a good experience. Different labels for Carvana. Like I mentioned, each company typically has their own customer journey language and process. For Carvana, we see consider, explore, compare, test, and negotiate. And above the line, we see the positive experiences that a customer is having. So let's assume you're on their website and you're thinking of buying a car for Carvana. The good thing is the website looks great. However, it looks different from their actual commercials that they see on TV. The website doesn't match the commercial at all. When the customer gets to the explore stage, they can save cars. There's a mobile app, but it's not very good. And the pinch point here in the explore phase is that the quality of the listings, there's not a lot of photos of the cars, so they really want to see more photos of the cars. When the customer gets to the compare stage, they see pinch points where they have to be checking the website frequently on their own. There's no way to set up automatic updates on the website to be notified when new cars come onto the website. And it's difficult to narrow down options and kind of compare. There's no like side-by-side comparison that's really clear. The customer's having to do their own spreadsheet away from Carvana. So there's no easy comparative tool. In the test phase, they can use the mobile app to take notes, but it takes so long for the Carvana customer to actually test drive a car, getting to a place where they can actually test drive the car. And then in the negotiate stage, when they're getting to purchase, they're either happy with it or they're also wondering, I wonder if I could have got a better deal, which is a common thing with a car purchase. So at each of these stages, when we look at the red lightning bolts in the bottom, we see pinch points. Pinch points are challenges, and challenges are nothing but opportunities in disguise, right? So as a business person, you can look at those and go, can I launch a business that does it in a different way and that solves some of these pinch points for customers? These pinch points are actually unmet needs, and unmet needs are opportunities for new business ideas. So next up, I'm going to walk through a couple of slides that we talk about in our marketing class with how to come up with a product or service idea, and especially what are some workarounds that we can do when we're stuck, when we kind of have an idea, but that idea happens to be in a pretty crowded sector where there's already a lot of competitors, and it seems like everything's already being done as far as new products. We're going to have an opportunity mindset, go through your day, your week, and as you interact with businesses, you want to constantly be asking yourself, could they do this better? Or is there a different way that this could be done? Instead of having to go here or pay for the full product, could there maybe be a subscription model? In marketing, we talk about product, price, place, and promotion, also known as the 4 Ps or the marketing mix. But you have different ways of coming up with new products and services. It doesn't have to be an out-of-the-box, completely innovative, never been done before product idea. Most ideas that you will have, frankly, they've already been done. Somebody's out there because this is what companies do, and they are researching the next big thing. So don't be discouraged when you have a product or service idea and you start doing a Google search to see if it's out there and you're like, oh, darn it, somebody's already got CBD infused dog chews to calm dogs down. Those are already out there, darn it. So when we think about it could be a new product, that's one way of coming up with a new product or service idea. But it can also be a new way of distributing the product, meaning maybe you don't sell in stores, or maybe you don't sell online, you sell it in a different way. Maybe it's in vending machines, because nobody's ever sold earbuds in vending machines in California, as far as I know. And maybe that could be a new distribution channel. Maybe it's how you price the product. Not just price, but how somebody pays for it. Subscription models have become very popular so that customers don't have to buy the full thing. They can basically lease it. We're seeing that with clothing. We're seeing that with accessories. And we're starting to see that with consumer electronics, but not yet with things like laptops. So that's opportunities there for different pricing, subscription models. And then promotion, how you actually promote the product Maybe you go after a different buyer persona, target market, and maybe you just change up how people consider using the product and you're sending a different marketing message to the customer. Same product, just marketed in a different way. We're looking for an unmet need, and we're looking for an unmet need in the customer journey process. Here's the 3 big solution workarounds that I spend a lot of time discussing with students as they work on ideating for new product or service ideas. The customer journey and looking at those stages provides lots of opportunities for new products or services. You can also narrow the target market. You can go after an underserved target market, a group of customers who don't really have anything tailored specifically for them, or nobody's really messaged to them directly. And you can market a new use or a different experience for an existing product. The quick example there is Zumba Fitness. Zumba Fitness used to compete with all the other at-home fitness videos that you could buy and run on your home TV device and do your exercise at home. What Zumba Fitness realized is that they were in the wrong category. We need a new experience, and they moved into competing not with at-home exercise, which brings connotations of pain and suffering and it's hard, but instead they moved into group exercise, group entertainment, and so it became more about dancing and social and primarily women who could go together in a group fitness class and have fun. Fitness becoming fun, not fitness being painful and hard. So they moved out of that at-home fitness piece and made it more about group fitness, marketing a new use, a new experience for an existing product. All right, so let's look at some examples for each of these 3 solutions. First off, look for an unmet need in the customer journey process. Let's go back and look at the customer journey map for Carvana and see where there's unmet needs. Where are those pinch points? I think one that stands out for me in looking at this map is if you look at the 3rd column under compare, where Carvana at the time wasn't providing side-by-side comparisons of 3 different makers, same type of car, maybe it's a wagon, maybe it's a sedan, but they weren't doing side-by-side comparisons, and so the customer would have to do all that offline on their own. You could come in with a competing, more comparative-friendly car purchasing website that did that for the customer automatically. So we're seeing a lot of comparative tools now showing up with online merchants, and that's because of this need for side-by-side comparisons. So you want to look for the unmet need. A good place to start is you're a customer and there's things that you buy and you're probably a fan of certain brands. Pay attention as you go through the process and look for potential pinch points and unmet needs. I know my own personal pet peeve is when I go to a retail store and I shop and then I want to get out of there and pay for it and leave. I want that to be a quick process. I hate long waits in line. I'm like, I just want to pay. I want to get out of here. I'm having a major pinch point with how long it's taking me to get out of here. And I will actually just buy stuff online to avoid the retail experience if I think I'm going to have to wait in line. It's too big of a pinch point for me. So here's a couple examples of unmet needs that came out of reviewing the customer journey process. In the top, we see Amazon. In the bottom, we see Chick-fil-A. Amazon spotted a pinch point with people who were trying to return Amazon purchases. I bought the wrong thing, or you sent me the wrong thing, and I need to send it back. And you used to be able to print off the stickers, and then you have to go take it to a UPS or something and do it that way. So what they did is they partnered with convenience stores and other high traffic areas, and they provided these hub lockers. Lockers where you could, if you're in a rural area, have the product sent to that locker so you could get it, or you could also return your package directly there and avoid some of those shipping expenses by returning the product. So Amazon Hub Locker, and they partnered with other convenience stores like some 7-Elevens and other chains to have those outside of their locations. So they have a lot of locations, they have high customer traffic, everybody kind of knows where those convenience stores are. It made sense as kind of a cross-partnership to put those return lockers in those locations. So this helped them solve the return piece and separate them from other online retailers. Chick-fil-A at the bottom. Chick-fil-A, and I don't know what's going on with that very rusty car in that photo, but it must rain there a lot. They must be in the Pacific Northwest. But Chick-fil-A in the fast food industry is known for service. They greet you, they're friendly, they put a lot of time and effort into the service piece, and they're out there greeting you and helping you speed up the order. Yes, there's others like In-N-Out that also have the tablets and do that piece, but Chick-fil-A really wants to personalize and greet you and try to have a human interaction as part of their purchase. So they like to differentiate in the fast food sector with service, seeing an unmet need there where oftentimes it's just a very kind of cold, rushed, rude transaction of getting your food. All right, so there you saw a couple of examples where companies found some pinch points in the customer journey process and they added some new services or points of differentiation to address those pinch points. The second area where you can come up with new product and service ideas is narrowing your target market. Oftentimes I'll have students write a marketing plan where one of the first things they do is they define who's their target market and who are their competitors. And in the target market they'll say, anybody is my customer. And you really want to focus in both demographically, age, income, gender, ethnicity, education levels, specific boxes that we can put a customer in, as well as psychographics, which is attitudes, interests, opinions, like somebody can be outdoorsy, that's a psychographic description. And oftentimes there's certain target markets that aren't being addressed, and there can be an opportunity to meet that specific target market. We've seen this a lot lately with, say, plus-size women and the anti-body shaming movement, where it's okay to be whatever body type you are, and products and services celebrating those body types and having products and services to meet the needs of those body types. So you can narrow the target market. Let's look at some examples. So narrowing the target is a good product idea strategy when there's already a lot of competitors and your product idea, there's not a lot of innovation, there's not a lot of ways to do a new product, and so narrowing the target is a way to go. And the example I'm going to show here is a wine company, Barefoot Wine and Bubbly. There's lots of wine companies, thousands probably, and lots of different brands of wine. Barefoot Wine and Bubbly was the first one to specifically address the LGBTQIA community. And so their packaging and their messaging and their images and their ads all celebrated the LGBTQIA community, and they were successful getting traction with that community. Still the same wine, blended reds and whites and varietal wines, but they just differentiated based on promotion. We're going to go after a different target audience, a more specific target audience. It wasn't about the wine, it wasn't a low-calorie wine, it wasn't some high-end fancy wine, it was not about the product. It was about going after a different target audience. So they're communicating to a more niche audience that was being overlooked, and there was enough of them warrants coming up with a new brand. So it's an existing product promoted to a more specific target audience. So that's the second workaround to narrow the target market when your product category already exists and there's lots of competitors. The third solution is to market a new use of the product or a new experience of that product. Experience the product and use the product in a different way. Let's look at some examples here. Arm & Hammer, which has been around forever, it's a very old brand. It used to just be baking soda and people would use it to bake. And some smart homemakers realized that if they put Arm & Hammer baking soda in the fridge, the refrigerator didn't smell as bad and items smelled fresher longer. So by that realization, Arm & Hammer realized we can have a whole new customer use for our product, and we can take our Arm & Hammer brand, which is just baking soda, it was a one-product company, and move into this new whole direction and experience of we're known for freshness. We're known for freshness. Baking soda becomes a brand for clean and fresh products. And natural, because you're using baking soda, it's not a bunch of chemicals. Arm & Hammer built an entire new brand, and they have everything now from cleaning products to deodorants and just a host of freshness products that are built around the Arm & Hammer brand, focusing on having the customer have a different use experience for the product. Here's another example of having a new product use or experience. Coffee is known as the liquid of achievers. It's a get up and go stimulant. Early in the morning, you chug it down, you race out the door, and off you go. And that's Dunkin' Donuts, and that's Starbucks, and the many other coffee retailers. Now, coffee's gone premium, much like microbrews. There's many different flavors, and people are very specific about the type of coffee and the specific drink that they want. But it's still known as kind of this thing you do to get juiced up, to go to work and to go have a productive day. What you are seeing is some opportunities for slow coffee. In this case, coffee is kind of competing with tea and other relaxing beverages that are meant to slow you down and have you be more mindful. The customer is having a different use experience with coffee. Instead of a stimulating breakfast routine, it becomes a reflective mindfulness practice. And so slow coffee is a new product opportunity. It's just changing the brand message of the product. It would probably have less caffeine in it, we would imagine, but it would, really it's the same product. It's just marketed in a different way. You could be a retailer, a coffee retailer, that is all about a slow go, chilled out experience, and that's your retail experience when people come there for coffee. It's meant to be a slow, languish, hang out, read a book, take your time experience. Focus on a new product experience. And I like to include this just as an example for the surfers out there. Surf wax, which is kind of a commodity. There's Sticky Bumps, and there's Dr. Zoggs. Those are like two big brands, but it's all about the functionality of the wax, right? Like, is it gonna keep my feet on the board? Does it smell nice, right? Those are kind of the two main considerations with surf wax. So when I was getting my master's degree and doing my capstone project of submitting a business idea, my idea was for a new brand of surf wax. It wasn't about the performance of the wax. It wasn't about the stickiness of the wax. It was about the experience of going down early and waxing the board and hearing the kind of rhythmic sound of the wax scraping across the board while you're checking out the lineup in the surf. And my product idea was called Soul Biscuit. It was a surf wax, and it had a different shape to it, kind of like if you think fortune cookie with a message in it, but you open up the wax, and then there's some type of groovy message in that wax, like share the waves, or very mindful, meditative quotes from self-help gurus that would be either stamped on the wax or as part of the packaging itself. A new product user experience. So it's still surfboard wax, but it's got a different use, a different take on it. It goes from being this performance-oriented kind of rush step to get out there to a reflective, mindful practice, and also some coolness of the actual packaging itself. So to sum that up, it doesn't have to be the pressure of coming up with a totally new, innovative idea that nobody's thought of before. I would say every year between my marketing classes, I maybe get somewhere between 2 to 5 where students actually have like, wow, that's a new product idea that nobody's ever actually thought before. Most of them are existing product ideas, and many of the students struggle because they feel like, it's no good because it's already been done. It's okay if the product idea is already out there. You just have to have a twist, promoted differently. Is it priced differently? Is it distributed in a different way? all of those are acceptable. It doesn't have to be just a whole unique product idea. So hopefully these different workaround solutions are of help to you. I appreciate you listening, and good luck with your ideation.